A new Russian submarine and the fearsome weapon it is meant to carry have been presented to the public as game-changing tools of maritime dominance, but the reality behind the spectacle looks far less convincing. The project is billed as a nuclear-powered torpedo submarine designed to give Russia permanent hidden reach over the world's seas by housing the so-called Poseidon weapon, a device named after the Greek god of the sea. Yet the launch and the claims around it raise more questions than answers. From the footage and official statements, the vessel was floated out at a northern shipyard only days before several outlets reported on the unveiling, but a float-out is a long way from active service. The Navy still needs to prove the submarine functions as intended before any mass production or operational deployment. At the ceremonial reveal, the ship's designers showed surprisingly little of the new boat, and the limited images that exist have already prompted analysts to flag serious contradictions between Moscow's rhetoric and the practical realities of the platform. Russian officials have framed the submarine as a modern, nuclear-powered carrier of advanced underwater weapons and robotic devices, reportedly based on an existing Boray-class design, so it can stay hidden beneath the waves and strike when ordered. Public claims put the surface displacement at about 10,000 tons, a nuclear reactor for essentially unlimited range, a mixture of weapons aboard including the Poseidon alongside conventional anti-ship cruise missiles and torpedoes, a crew of roughly 100, and patrol durations of somewhere between 90 and 120 days. Beyond those basics, however, details are thin and much of the program remains shrouded in secrecy. At the center of the story is the Poseidon itself, described in official remarks as a nuclear-powered long-range underwater drone, or super torpedo, that could travel thousands of kilometers at high speeds and carry a nuclear warhead. Russian leaders have celebrated recent tests, saying a launch and a functioning miniature reactor were demonstrated, but analysts point out many unknowns about Poseidon's guidance, targeting, and communications. It is unclear whether the system is pre-programmed with target coordinates, relies on satellite links, or needs a physical connection to receive targeting once launched. Technical observers have also highlighted oddities in the Khabarovsk's design that undermine the platform's value. The new sub appears considerably shorter than the Boray hull it is said to be based on and sits lower in the water, suggesting a reduced reserve of buoyancy. A smaller buoyancy reserve matters for safety and survivability. It affects how quickly a damaged boat can surface and how long it can stay afloat if flooding or heavy damage occurs. For those reasons, some analysts wonder if the Khabarovsk sacrifices crew safety for the ability to carry the Poseidon. Other questions revolve around trade-offs in space and armament. The Poseidon is reportedly enormous compared with conventional torpedoes. Only this new hull can accommodate the system, and some commentary suggests the sub may lack missile silos or other conventional launches because of that. If the Khabarovsk essentially exists to carry only Poseidon drones, its tactical flexibility would be limited, and the logic of building a bespoke, costly platform for a system claimed to have almost unlimited range becomes harder to justify. After all, if the drone truly has near ocean-spanning reach because of its onboard reactor, shore-based launch options would be conceivable and far cheaper. There are also doubts about whether the Poseidon performs as advertised. Navigation, range, and accuracy are all essential to a weapon's military value, and if Poseidon's guidance or endurance falls short of official claims, a submarine-borne launcher could be necessary simply to get the device close enough to intended targets. Conversely, if Poseidon is accurate and truly long-ranged, building an expensive specialized submarine to deploy it might be unnecessary, which raises the possibility that the Khabarovsk program predates the weapon and has been retrofitted to accommodate it, creating an expensive platform with little real advantage over existing boats. Beyond the engineering puzzles lies a deeper strategic question. In what real scenario would a state use an apocalyptic, nuclear-armed underwater drone that might create radioactive devastation along coastlines? If such capabilities exist, they would complicate nuclear doctrine and deterrence, and could even provoke preemptive planning by adversaries. The political value of the announcement may therefore exceed any genuine operational utility. The leaders celebrating Poseidon and related systems are also using their claims to project power, reassure domestic audiences, and signal deterrence to rivals, even while independent analysts point to gaps, accidents, and unresolved technical challenges in the program's history. Finally, some observers wonder whether parts of the story are more propaganda than reality. The Poseidon program has been linked to dangerous incidents during development, and the high political theater surrounding its announcements raises the possibility that the weapon is not yet operational at the scale claimed, or that details are being exaggerated to distract from other military and political problems. If the submarine is, as reported, optimized almost exclusively for carrying a single questionable weapon, then what remains may be a costly symbolic asset rather than a practical advancement in naval power.